live from New York. It's the show that is only 1 hour today. So we've got to take all of our energy, compact it down. So we've got to be extra special today. So
yeah.
You're in luck. It's first things first. Starting quarterback Aaron Rodgers is reportedly on the short list to be the running mate of independent candidate for president, Robert Kennedy Jr. Also on the list, former Minnesota governor and boa enthusiast, Jesse the Body Ventura. According to the New York Times, both have, quote, welcomed the overtures. Jets PR did not weigh in when asked for comment to The Athletic. Sauce Gardner, however, has, saying, oh, Aaron is about to become the vice president. That's why he hasn't been answering my text messages. So that's from Sauce Gardner. Nick, do you have a comment?
I do. Wildes, can you go back? I apologize to your script. The New York Times reported that both of them have
welcome to the overtures.
So have not dismissed it, denied it, said it's not being reported that this is something RFK would like, but Aaron's like, conflicts with my day job. Okay. So now that we have that settled, Aaron Rodgers should just retire. His heart's not in it. He has other interests. God bless him. Steph Curry, I don't want to say floated, was asked yesterday, actually, would you ever run for office one day? And his answer was maybe. So the idea of the athlete, Bill Bradley Brew, who I think you covered in high school, was a senator for
Jack Kemp.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of people, athletes turned politicians, and Aaron Rodgers what you can't do is both. In a world where Baker Mayfield still gets criticized for a couple days of insurance commercials during the offseason, I don't think you can weigh or balance quarterback for the Jets with, the VP debate between weeks 5 and 6.
You don't think?
I don't think it's a realistic game plan. And I know that people are expecting me to call Aaron Rodgers disingenuous, because he is the most disingenuous athlete of my lifetime. And for those people, you're in luck. Because here was Aaron Rodgers, the last time he was in the Jets facility, what he said that needs to be the biggest focus of their offseason. Let's take a listen. Unless, of course, I'm talking about myself. The ultimate do as I say, not as I do. And so I think that the New York Jets, this is tantamount to Brew, parents whose kid is a child star and the breadwinner of the family. An 11-year-old that's in a huge movie. That they went from a working class family to millionaires, but it's all the kid's money. And he's figured it out. He's like, I'm in charge here. They can't do anything to me because I'm pulling the purse strings. Well, Ja's an adult at least, but sure. But imagine a child, an actual child. And when Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas only have their jobs because Aaron likes them, then he knows I can do this. I cannot rebut it. I cannot deny it. In fact, I can consider, he's probably not going to win. And if he does, we'll cross that bridge when he gets there. So I think it's embarrassing. And I think that if this is what Aaron even
embarrassing for the Jets.
Yes. And embarrassing for Aaron because he is trying to pretend, at least as of now, that these are viable simultaneous paths. And they're not.
Yeah, that part is ridiculous, that these are both viable. So let me start here. In fairness to Aaron Rodgers, and I think he is obviously narcissistic. I think, that's clear. But in fairness to him, when he did say, we got to be all in, all the other stuff that's not about winning has to be out of the building, all that, he didn't know he was going to be asked to run for vice president. All right? So I will give him that. And I'm going to be honest. He's 40 years old. He's clearly at the end of his road as far as playing football. I don't blame him, even though I don't think they would win, obviously. But I don't blame him for oh, wow. Now, if Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, even in Aaron Rodgers early in his career, I think they'd be like, no. I'm a football player, and I want to have my career. But now where Rodgers is at, I don't blame him for, being intrigued by this. I mean, that would be great. He seems like a guy that wants to talk about these things. If he wants to run for VP, that's fine. And here's the thing. In 2 weeks, we're gonna know. So they're gonna make their decision. Robert Kennedy Jr. is gonna make his decision, and I'm betting it won't be Aaron Rodgers.
That's right.
But we'll know in a couple of weeks, so it doesn't have to be a huge distraction. Now, if it is Rodgers, he can't play football. I don't want to hear anybody, including him, talk about I can run for vice president and play football. If I'm the Jets, I'm like, this is our opportunity to cut ties. And I get you're right about the front office, Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh. At some point, you just got to stand up like a man and say, this is not going to work. You cannot be running for vice president and play quarterback in the NFL.
Obviously, but can I ask this question before you go?
So then they cut ties and trade for Justin Fields.
Brew.
That's I mean, seriously, move off from him and his money.
So, all right, so two things. One is the CNN reported that RFK has made his decision, just hasn't announced it. Now, whether or not he's told Aaron or whatever it is, that's fine. Why would Aaron, if he wants to play football, why would he not say thanks but no thanks? Or if he really wants to do this, why would he not say, yeah, we're going to need to have this not leak. We're going to need to have the fact that I might be your pick. And if it does leak, Robert, I'm going to need you to go ahead and say it's not me if it's not me. Why would we allow this? What is happening in the NFL right now?
He loves the attention.
Okay,
he's
there we
a
go.
narcissist.
Okay.
So I agree. He doesn't mind it leaking.
Do you think it's good for the Jets right now? Forget in 2 weeks.
But it'll be over in a couple of weeks.
It's free agency right now.
That's right.
It's time to build your team
They got a lot
right now. Yes, but right today. They traded for an old right tackle. You know why? Because they got an old quarterback. They're making their plans under the auspices that this guy is going to play quarterback for them. And now Aaron Rodgers, who is never hesitant to find a microphone, an interview, anything to get his point across, now we're 24 hours removed from PFT commenter's dog on Twitter breaking this story, by the way. Shout out to Leroy for it being the first one on it, saying that Aaron Rodgers could be the vice presidential candidate, and he's just letting it sit there. Well, how does that not make you the biggest hypocrite in sports? How can I show one other quote before you go? Aaron Rodgers and Robert Saleh, when it came to Hard Knocks, Aaron Rodgers, a lot of eyes on me, a lot of eyes on our team, a lot of expectations on our squad. They forced it down our throats. Well, how about when the international foreign press starts coming to training camp? Aaron, Saleh, several teams would love for Hard Knocks to be in their building. We're just not one of them. Well, if your quarterback is flirting with a presidential run during an election year, I would say there's going to be more eyes on the team.
But Nick, again, it'll be over in a few weeks.
It will never.
If the Jets are a joke, if they let this dude run for vice president and be their quarterback.
Of course that won't happen. That's not what I'm saying.
Now, what they need to do is sit down and talk with him. And if he really is going to be the VP, then that's where I was serious about the Justin Fields stuff.
Sure.
That's where it matters. Like, they should go after Justin Fields if he's not going to be there. But I will say this, and again, I don't think 2 months ago when Aaron Rodgers said we got to be all in, that he was thinking he had a chance to run for vice president. And I think there's always, I love it here. I love our job. There's some things that if it came my way that I might want to entertain. I'm sure it's the same for both of us, all three of us.
Not me.
So, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I think this is something, now I agree, he's disingenuous, he's narcissistic, all that, and this is hypocritical, but I think this is something that I don't blame him for entertaining.
Okay. Sure, I buy that.
I
wish I had the same passion as you guys, because I don't. It's crossed the Rubicon to, yeah, man, whatever. I'm in prime, yeah, whatever, probably not mode with Aaron Rodgers. It's like, I'm going to host Jeopardy. Like, yeah, probably not going to be the host of Jeopardy. I'm gonna be a Packer next year. Like, probably not. Like, I'm immunized. You're probably not, dude. You're probably not. I'm gonna come back this year. Don't count me out. I'll be on that field. If we make you're probably not, dude. I was gonna retire out of the darkness retreat. Like Again, you're probably not. So it's like he's weighing being the vice presidential candidate. Like, it just hit me as probably not. So I tried to. You sent the text right after the show, and I had a pithy joke, and then I kind of moved on. And I think a lot of people are, which speaks to the fact that what's his next act of attention? That's what I'm interested in. Is it
after this?
After this goes away,
this is gonna be
just like
pretty tough to
everything
top.
else has gone away, it peaks up and then it goes away. Does he have another card to play? I don't know if he does. The attention for the warmth of the spotlight is hard
and also
after
to
this,
quench.
where do you go?
I agree with that, but I want to, if I may, and I think it was brilliantly done, Wildes, and you're right, which is your old buddy Bill Simmons called it 20 years ago the Tyson zone.
Yeah.
When someone entered, he said Mike Tyson entered a place where someone could tell you anything. Did you see that Mike Tyson did X? And you would believe it.
Yeah. Selling gummies of Evander Holyfield's ear?
It's like, wait, what? Yeah, and so
Fighting at 58
right,
years old.
Fighting Jake Paul
right, and Mike
or
Tyson,
Logan
evidently, God bless him, still in the Tyson zone. Rodgers has entered that.
Yeah.
Where there is nothing I could text you about Aaron other than, he was seen on a field doing the 40 that you wouldn't believe. And so there's that part of it. Bro, I want to get back to something you said, which is you said that we all have jobs so I agree with you, but I'm also going to tell you this. If you were like, guys, I'm letting you know I might be leaving the show. I think I got a chance. They saw some of the grainy high school footage. I think I might be the next quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens. I'd be like, you don't take this job seriously, buddy, because you actually have no chance of that. I know it sounds like a great job, but you're not going to get that job. Aaron Rodgers has no chance of being the next vice president of the United States.
No,
None.
but does he have
None.
a chance of being Kennedy's candidate?
He has
That's
a chance.
all we're saying.
Yeah,
I
no,
agree with that.
but
Kennedy's not going to win the presidency.
I understand, which is
But he's
why
still
it's so
running.
insulting. Right, but he's not leaving 52 guys on his team hanging. I don't know what Robert Kennedy's. He's putting the lady from Curb Your Enthusiasm in a tough spot. Aside from that, he's just his own
We've
guy.
had some presidents
I understand,
that
bro.
we didn't think would ever be president.
I agree with you, but you also
It's become crazy
But
here
you
in
also
this
agree that he is framing it as for a job he knows he wouldn't get, and that's the part of me. And I don't even think he's going to be
think
named
he
the vice
knows
president.
that?
Yeah. I think it is what
he's
I
shown
think
he's
it
a
is the
bit
narcissistic attention complex of, and the idea that when he doesn't get it, or when Kennedy doesn't pick him or whatever, that, oh, okay, it's in 2 weeks, so it goes away. You don't think that this is a topic of conversation when the Jets meet the media for the first time? You don't think Bob Sala's got to deal with this, Joe Douglas, and you don't think it then leads to this round of conversations? So tell us, Aaron, what do you like about Robert Kennedy's platform? Is that about football? Is that any of those things?
I agree with you on that, and you could easily squash that quickly. Like, let's say he doesn't get the nominate or the candidacy, and it's back to football, and like you said, all these questions are asked. If you just dead it right away, you know what? Look, guys, yeah, I thought about wanting to be a VP. I mean, but it didn't happen, and now I'm zoned in on the Jet. It's a day of maybe uncomfortable questions,
okay,
and then you move on. If he would do that, but he'll probably entertain it and talk about it weekly with McAfee or whatever, and that would be a problem. But if you could dead it easily if he would do it.
They're so far away from being a Super Bowl contender.
Super Bowl?
That's what he's there to do.
They're
that's a
barely
good
in the
point.
NFL.
That's a good point, Wildes.
But I'm
You're
just
right.
saying, we have moved. You're like, he's gonna
that
gonna
trophy.
dead
You
it.
want the
He
lonely
wanted the
trophy,
trophy.
the lonely
I wrote down, and I know you referenced Baker's
You're right about that.
Baker's commercial. Kyler plays
Video
Call of
games.
Duty.
You're right.
And it's like, man, he's not locked in.
Now, that might be a bigger time commitment than RFK's VP.
Trevor Lawrence told Sports Illustrated 3 years ago, there's also more to life than playing football. Russell Wilson, God forbid, had an office. He had an office and a phone and be like, what's going on here? This guy's not locked in.
Wildes, you wanna
We're
know
so
something?
far away. Don't say take a shot at my office.
No, I'm not.
defending
I'm not
Russell
going
Wilson's
to.
office.
I was going to tee you up. You know what all three of those guys have in common?
What?
Too? They've all thrown for 300 yards more recently.
Tell me
than
about
Aaron
it.
Rodgers.
That's true. 26 games.
Three of
He
them
needs
have.
that should be his campaign. I promise. I will throw for 300 yards. Afternoon headlines. Check in on the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, meanwhile, is restructuring his contract to open up about $21.5 million in cap space. Chiefs already signed.
His campaign chest.
Okay. Chris Jones. We're waiting news on L'Jarius Sneed. I don't know what's going on there. Kansas City still relatively quiet on the free agency front. Yeah. Is their quietness a chief concern? Peel back the curtain. Hubs really wants to make this chief concern bit.
Yeah,
thing.
Free agency thus far for the Chiefs literally could not have gone better. There's not one contract. And I went through today. My buddy Florio has his list of the top 103. I don't know why it's 103. I think it was 100, but then he added a few guys because they got cut. Top 103 free agents. Okay. Of the not all of them have signed, obviously. There was not a single one of those free agent deals of a team, like guy went to a new team that I saw. I'm like, wish the Chiefs would have done that. Not one. Yeah, they have to have a wide receiver. Well, what are the tiers of wide receiver that have signed? Michael Pittman for $70 million over 3 years. No, thank you. Next year, Gabe Davis, $39 million over 3 years. No, thank you. I know you love him. Or the lowest, Devontae Parker, $5 million for 1 year. No, thanks. And so what now? Mike Williams just got cut.
Yeah. Okay.
Tyler Boyd is out there. Hollywood Brown is out there. Calvin Ridley's out there. Do I think one of those guys might sign either a 1 year prove-it deal or a ring-chasing type of deal? Sure, maybe. But I also know that we've got Pro Football Focus, Bruise guys, have 15 wide receivers ranked higher than Xavier Worthy, who just ran a 4.21. And so they're going to be able to get one in the draft. Mm-hmm. And because of this, if they want to keep Sneed, they can. They can keep Sneed on the franchise tag for a year if they want to. So, no, there has not been a single player signed that I'm like, damn, Chiefs missed out on that. So, for me, I'm fine with it.
No, look, I agree. I mean, and after what happened last season, nothing's going to happen that's going to really make you doubt the Chiefs. The Chiefs look bad for the second half of the season.
Yeah, not to me.
I mean, they were what, 6-5 over their last 11?
The Super Bowl winning that?
No, I'm talking about my point is the regular season, they look bad.
Yeah, but the defense always looked good.
The defense is only going to get better because, as you've talked about, they're young. They kept Chris Jones, especially if they keep Sneed. So the defense is going to get better. Offensively, I would like to see him go get a receiver. I know they'll probably draft a guy, and it is a deep draft. Mike Williams, man, look, maybe I like Mike Williams more than others, but when the dude is healthy, he is good.
Now, I know he hasn't been able to stay
healthy,
one.
but he is really good. So he would be great with the Chiefs if they got him, and you probably get him at a good price, and then you draft somebody. So, no, if they got it done last year, then you can't say they're not going to be able to get it done any year that Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid are there.
And listen, I do think they're going to sign. They're going to spend decent money either on a wide receiver or a tackle, and whichever one they don't is what their first-round pick will be. So, like, Tyron Smith is still out there, but Donovan Smith, their own left tackle, is not re-signed yet. So I don't think they're going to stay totally out of it entirely. They obviously added Irv Smith Jr. I don't know why everyone's overlooking that. Great tight end, too, they added there. But the other thing that just should be noted is they've drafted the last few years so many guys that are big-time contributors. They also have to keep the money to pay them. Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith, their center and right guard, might need extensions this offseason. Next offseason, McDuffie, Karlaftis, and Pacheco, who we all love, you know what I mean? Those guys, so when you know you got to re-sign your own guys, you got to find a way.
And you know you can win it with what you have because Rasheed and those guys are going to get better.
Oh, yeah.
I still like Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, maybe
like
on a one-year prove-it type of deal.
Ring-chasing deal. I like that. Tiers, special episode next.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.